Welcome to the If You Know, You Grow podcast. My name is Chantel Braley, and I am going to be your host for the next however many minutes. This podcast has been created to help bring you behind the scenes of some incredible brands, hear some incredible stories, and make it so that it is no longer an if you know industry, because now it is all about if you know, you grow. Here we are for our final episode of the season in a slightly different location because I just finished up getting my office space or studio or podcast studio or whatever this is set up, golden hour, and the fit out is incredible. But we're not there because I am on the road at the moment, which is kind of funny because it's something that I didn't really expect from this year, but it ended up happening, a fair bit. So originally my plan was to recap my event, and I'm still going to do that. It was incredible. I actually had such great feedback, and I think I really realized how great I am with connection, which I love people, but I also love bringing people together, and I didn't think that it was something that necessarily was my thing, but look, after this, I really feel like it is my thing. But originally I was going to record at the event, and then I just decided I don't want to. One, because I don't want to deal with the technical drama of it, and I just don't think that I'm quite there yet, but also the value that I added to be something that you could get intimately. And I'm kind of bummed because the feedback I then got back was so great that it's going to be something that I put, I think, into some type of digital layout or, it will be shared. But I wanted it to be intimate. So I am so sorry if you were expecting to be able to listen to that on an episode. It didn't really happen. But I was able to walk people through a little bit of an audit and some incredible foundations. And then after that, I had a group chat with Atia Batty and Gemma Fox, who are two of my best friends. And we were able to ask them lots of really great questions and kind of keep it open forum and, really learn a lot about each other that night. And there was also lots of great drinks and food, and it was so much fun. And I can't wait to do more of that next year. I've got a lot planned, and I don't like to do that thing where it's like, I have so much planned, teaser, teaser, teaser. But I think it's just, things are still in the ideation phase. And I don't want to say that like this is happening when I don't actually know if it's happening. And I'm really excited that as of next Friday, I'm going to be winding down and going to America to see my brother and my sister-in-law and the kids for a week, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to put tools down for a while. So this might be our last podcast for about a month before we go into season 2. So consider this an official wrap up of the season. I wanted to kind of talk about things that I've learned this season or this year. I've only been doing this now for really since August, right? And it's been a vehicle for me to be able to share my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, strategies. But 2025 has actually been a huge era of learning for me. And it was something that, I wasn't anticipating. I wasn't anticipating the level of change or the catalyst for change that I've had, but it has been so incredible. I don't think I'll ever fully understand just how transformative this year was because I wasn't able to watch myself transform, but I could see it in the way that people relate to me and perceive me and just the feedback that I'm receiving. So I wanted to go over lessons that I've learned this year, lessons that I've learned this season, and just share them with you because it has been a year of growth and transformation and learning, and it has been a tough year, but it's been one of the most incredible years of my life, and I'm so happy to say that. So the first one is you'd never know the impact that you can make. So I am a confident person. I know the value that I add to the world. I'm very comfortable with my intelligence. I'm comfortable with the strategies that I have. I know where I can show up. But what I didn't realize is by sharing what makes me me, I was actually creating impact for other people. I was bringing people together. I was inspiring people. I was changing their perspective on the world. And those are things that I am in awe of the fact that I make somebody else feel that way. Like it is an empowering feeling in the most beautiful way because I feel so grateful that I can actually share something that is really an amalgamation of all my stupid choices and my overthinking and, my learnings, and that's something actually changes your day for the better, or it makes you think, or it challenges you. Because really, I'm just kind of transferring on what I received from other people. So it feels really beautiful, and it's challenged me to think about the other ways that I can drive impact and how I can share what I have to say with the world. Because look, we all know I love to talk, but I think I've realized that I actually have something really powerful to share, which wasn't the original purpose of me sharing this podcast at all. The next thing is that you don't have to be the person that does everything, and you may, in fact, not be good at it. So I think because the industry that I work in is so vague, when I say I work in marketing, people don't always know what I actually do. And I don't always think that I need to fully explain it because it's very nuanced, and like what I do in marketing might be different from someone else, and what I do in leadership or management but there is so much power in actually acknowledging what you don't do and what you're not good at, or what is below your skill set. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I literally mean that in the fact that we only have so many hours in the day. And if I continue to take on things that are not my zone of genius and that I don't add value to, it means I can't actually do the things where I add value. I also made mistakes this year that I was really embarrassed by. And it's because I was being helpful and I was extending myself, but I was extending myself in a way that I shouldn't have been because I wasn't the right person to be doing those things. I am somebody that is quite hands-on, but I'm not physically hands on the tools, and that's okay because I've been doing this for so long that I'm trying to do an AI trend currently on CapCut. I've watched all of the different descriptions and I'm like, I don't understand, why isn't it working? I also tried to book a Pilates class earlier, and I'm like, why isn't it booking? So I am at that age where I'm sometimes going to have technology issues, but people aren't working with me because they want me to physically do something. They're working with me for my learned experiences, for my creativity, for my imagination, and for my leadership. So I also need to own those things because that is effectively, what I charge out for. With that, and they kind of go hand in hand, is that you can't be everything for everyone. I always believe that being present is really important because being present is something that I like to be, right? But when I try to be everything for everybody, it makes me realize that I'm probably not the right person for that. I'm not everything and I don't need to be everything. And me putting the pressure on myself to be everything is actually really toxic in itself. And it definitely comes from some deep-rooted trauma of being a people pleaser. But the more that I realize I'm not everything, the more confident I feel in the areas that I can actually show up and the things that make me uniquely me. And that is incredibly humbling because, again, I'm saying I am not good at everything, nor should I be doing everything. But it also allows me to acknowledge that I'm really, really good at some things. So with this, one thing that I know I need to do is I need to ask for more help from people. It's actually one of my goals for next year. I want to reach out for help more. When I need support, I'm going to get that support because I know that I support other people. But when I'm being asked to do something that's not for me, I say hey, actually, I'm not the right person for that. Let me show you someone who is. Because that is incredibly powerful, and it means that I can just sit in my zone of genius and be really comfy instead of adding challenges of things that I don't want to be challenged by. The other thing with not being able to be everything for everyone, I think because I am somebody who wants to be a good friend, I overextend myself sometimes in friendships. I can't be everybody's best friend. And the weird thing is I don't want to be because I love my village. I love my best friends. I use that word village so frequently because I feel that friend isn't enough and effectively their family. And I know that I'm going to have these people for the rest of my life, but I only have so many hours. So when I try to add too much to that plate, it means that I'm going to have to deprioritize people. So it doesn't mean I can't make new friends. It just means I need to be really particular about just because they're a friend doesn't mean they have to be a best friend. They don't have to be one of my closest friends. Just because somebody wants to be close to me doesn't mean that I need to want to be close to them. And that doesn't make me cruel. It just makes me really realistic. And it's about managing expectations appropriately because I don't want to hurt someone's feelings and I want to be really honest with them. That's been something that's been really hard for me, I think, to learn. But then also, I can value friendships that are low effort friendships because I have so many friends that I could say, if you need me, you can call me. But I may not speak to them every day. And that's actually okay as well. You don't have to be a high touch friend. Not all friends are high touch friends. And sometimes the friendships will also go in seasons. So it doesn't really matter in that sense. The next big thing that I learned this year, which really has been my overarching trend, I think if I look back and I'm what was the word of the year? The word of the year was selfish. I did whatever I wanted to. However, because of my values, I didn't hurt people in the process. I just learned how to prioritize me. And I know that we always say, like, oh, you can't pour from an empty cup. Like, you actually can't. If I think about how me being selfish has actually shifted things, I'm a better colleague, I'm a better friend, I'm a more present sister. You know, my health has completely transformed. I've lost like 30 kilos this year. I've spent so much money on clothes because every time I have an event, everyone's like, you're wearing something new. I'm like, yeah, because everything I own doesn't fit me. It's fantastic. But it's because I made shifts. Those shifts were things like I'm prioritizing my workout over taking care of something else. I'm prioritizing what I need to be eating to fuel my body because of how my body reacts to food to something else. Everything was like a cause and effect situation, and it completely changed every aspect of my being. And I actually think being selfish is so good. Like knowing what you want and going after what you want and being selfish is the best thing that I have done all year. And then the last one, which I'm really struggling with right now, because let's be honest, I'm tired. I'm tired and I need a break, and it's okay to admit that. It's probably a convenient timing that it's the end of the season, but a rested person is a regulated person. I love the quote, and like I actually posted it, where it was like, I am so grateful to be tired because of what I once prayed for, like, you know, something along those lines. And I am. Like, I am so grateful that what is exhausting me and what is tiring me is everything that I've wanted to do. However, I acknowledge I've kind of hit that point of capacity to where, in order for me to have my next huge leap next year, where I have this, you know, next level transformation, I need to rest and recover because I am tired. I need some sleep. I need some rest. I need to go for some walks. I need to hang out with my nieces and nephews. You know, I need to do something that isn't a holiday Christmas party. I just, like, I want to sit on the couch with my best friend in crisp, cold air conditioning and watch a really crappy Netflix Christmas film. I just want to rest and recover. And a rested person is a regulated person. I've had some symptoms recently of like feeling really dysregulated. And a lot of it came down to like noticing I was like waking up in the middle of the night and I wasn't sleeping as well. And my body clock wasn't being as responsive as it should be. And it's okay to feel that way because it means that I went really hard. And I actually had like kind of a 2-week period where my schedule was the craziest it's been all year. And I love that. The work that I did absolutely lit me up. However, I now recognize I need to take a break. So with that as well, I kind of just want to talk about this season because it has been so incredible and I've had so many highlights. I have had some really incredible guests on the show who have, you know, willingly shared their knowledge about the industry and their zones of genius and what they bring to the table. You know, I've had them share strategies and insights. I've had you guys listen to me really rant about my personal life and chat through things that I didn't think you would feel the benefit from. Like one of my most popular episodes this season was actually where I was talking about resilience. And that was even a big learning for me that like my experiences and what I've gone through are actually really powerful because as much as I will never have a pity party and I will never have a victim mentality, I have gone through some adverse shit in my life to get where I am. And I am incredibly well versed in like how to pull it together when you don't feel like it. I actually have had like a moment recently where I realized that like I needed to let go of something where someone had hurt me because I allowed them to bring shit back up in my life because I was focusing on something that was so long ago. And it was really weird when I realized, wow, I need to forgive you because if I continue to hold on to the fact that you've done this to me, I'm going to perpetuate this bad feeling. And it happened at a moment where I was really low and really tired. And it made me think like, it's those moments where I know I didn't get into that moment in huge detail right then. And I know that was a little bit vague, but it's like moments like that where me sharing the way that I now respond to things is powerful because old me wouldn't have come to that conclusion. Old me would have allowed myself to carry the burden of somebody who had harmed me instead of recognizing the fact that, like, yes, they can be a shit person, but I actually don't need to even acknowledge that they are that person. So hopefully this is the last time that this ever comes up, but it's just a reference point. And the season has been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of learning, a lot of technical things, a lot of crazy things. Next year, I'm hoping is going to be the biggest year for me yet. And I don't know exactly what that looks like. But what I would love is if you'd like to send me a DM and tell me more of what you'd like to see or things that you want to learn about or brands that you want to hear from. I have the craziest second season lined up. And I know that this is like the most anticlimactic end to a first season, but I just wanted to like put a little bow on it and say how grateful I am, share some of those insights, and I think just really honor that this has been a really, really, really fun season. So we're coming back in mid-January, so we will only be gone for about a month, and we will be in an all-new studio with high resolution, high definition, no more of this sitting somewhere in a random hotel room type of conversation. It's going to be really fun. So please be sure to like, subscribe, follow, all of the things for If You Know You Grow, because that is going to be the best way to be notified. I also have a mailing list on my website, which is chantelbraley.com, and there will be a lot happening in a short period of time. Not really a short period of time. There'll be a lot happening around mid next month where we start jumping and getting stuff together. But until then, thank you so much for an incredible first season. And thank you for being here, even though I'm now tired and sleepy and I really need to take a nap. And I can't wait to see what happens in 2026. I hope you have an amazing Christmas with people that you love, and you also get to take some time off, whether you're in the industry or outside of the industry. This is a really, really great way just to shut down and recalibrate before we have a huge year ahead of us. Because from an astrology lens, because I thought this would be good, it was the year of the snake, which is like, it's a very different year. Everyone talked about how like you're shedding things and it's slower, it's more intentional. There's focus on privacy and boundaries, and just it isn't really like necessarily a positive year, even though I feel that I've had a positive year. But next year is the horse, so it's meant to be bold and expressive and fast moving and loud, high energy. So I am so excited to see what the horse has in store. As much as I am logic, I think that I've been proven enough times that the good old pattern will sometimes send me a push notification and be like, you know what? The stars are saying it. They can't be wrong because of the wild things that have happened via push notification that have happened in real life. So, wrapping up this year that has felt different and going into one that could be explosive. I'm really excited to see what comes from it. But I've probably said it a billion times, but hopefully you feel the gratitude. Thank you so much. I hope you have an incredible new year, an incredible Christmas break, and I will see you in 2026.